This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we're the ones that have encouraged you all along to like and share them on social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because Careology is the science of caring, and is presented by CareBag, providing personal sanitation products for homeless people. Here is your one and only host, the illustrious one and only Roxy Brown.
I like that. Illustrious.
Of course.
Illustrious. I like that. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is good to be back. I've been missing a couple of weeks, but you know what? You can't keep a good thing down. You can't keep a good girl down. So I am back. Those that are tuning in with us for the first time, it is so great to have you listening to us here on Careology. For those of you who are my faithful listeners, always ride or die with me, it is so good to have you. If you're driving in your car, don't get excited. Keep your eyes on the road. Careology is back. My name is Roxy. I'm the CEO and founder of CareBag Incorporated, where our mission is simple. We provide proper hygiene to the homeless and families in need. The access to proper hygiene should be a right, not a privilege. And that is what we do for our clients, on our Neighbors Without Walls here on the Treasure Coast and beyond. We go as far as West Palm Beach. We've gone to Tampa for, when we had the hurricane for a relief run. And we're just here to serve the community. And if you'd like to know more about us, please go to givecarebag.com and you can find out as much as you can, or just go 772-222-7399 and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Today is going to be a really good show. We have two guests in the studio live, and we're going to talk about setting boundaries. I don't know what kind of boundaries we're going to talk about because we have so many different ones we need to set. I am so excited because I have no clue what they're going to talk about or where this is going to go. So this is going to be a really, really fun show. We're bringing it for May. Happy May to everyone. So if you've been listening to Careology, you know what we do. We do our homework. We talk about CareBag before we even get started. I was talking to everyone about our fundraiser that we had, our high tea. It went fantastic. I just want to thank all our supporters and everyone that came out. We had a really good time. The children that did our fashion show were lovely. We even had some big kids in there. If those who can't see me, I'm just going to point to them right now. And it was really, really fun. And we formed our CareBag Founder Circle. What our CareBag Founder Circle is, it is no money to join. What it is, it's men and women who are coming together to support CareBag. If I have a mother, a dad, anyone living in their car, they need a car seat, our Pampers run short, our diapers, our toothpaste, we have a number of people we can call and say, listen, this is our situation, can you help? And it is good to know we have people in the community that are just jumping in and getting on board. So that went really, really well. But we have coming up May 23rd, our all-male celebrity chef event. That is where at Fujiyama in Stewart, we have 10 male chefs that are going to cook for us. I have it. Let's hear it for the boys. And we want anyone that wants to come out, wear your blue, please go to carebagfl.com and you can go .org, my apologies, carebagfl.org, and you can find how to get tickets, what table you want to sit at. We have our representative, Toby Overman, is going to be one of our chefs. We have a chef from a restaurant that's going to be one of our chefs. We have some local patrons, some businessmen that are coming out. It is going to be really, really a great time. And you get to celebrate with CareBag. And there's a piece en resistance on top of that. It's my birthday. So if you come out, you get to celebrate my birthday with me. That's how I want to celebrate my birthday. I want to celebrate it with people who love what we do. CareBag is close and passionate to my heart, so I'm really looking forward to that. Then August 6th, we have our back to school event. We've decided to do our back to school event the week of school because we're having a lot of events 2-3 weeks out. The kids' haircut needs to be done again. We're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead, cut these kids' hair, get girls to have their braids, make them look good, and then that Wednesday, Thursday, boom, they're in school. and they're looking good. They're having a great time. We're having it at the Mid-Florida Event Center, Kicking It United. This is our 4th year doing this. This year is even going to be more awesome than any other event. And then to go ahead, I've been looking forward to this event. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I had my girl from Hearts Unfold help me put it together. And yes, that was Asia, but we'll get to talk to her in a minute. Me and Cliff's ear just vibrated. Oh, he doesn't have his headset on. We are having a community baby shower, and that is going to be on October the 14th. And it is for expecting mothers, newborns up to 6 months. We are going to be basically, this is not open, oh, I'm having a baby, I'm coming, please don't come because we will return you back home. These are specifically for agencies that are dealing with mothers and babies that are in some type of difficulty. And we're looking for 100 moms and their partners to come. And we are going to have a traditional baby shower. This place is going to look beautiful. Thank you. Port City of the Port St. Lucie has given us the Community Event Center. Thank you. We have the City of Port St. Lucie behind us. We have the Community Center donated. So that is where we're going to have it. At the Community Center, a community baby shower. And we are really, really looking forward to that. So we're going to do a calendar. I want everyone to keep those dates in mind. And we're still doing a donation drive right now. We are looking for pull-ups. I'm going to be saying that all night long. We need pull-ups, pull-ups, pull-ups. Pull-ups size 2T, 3T, 3T, 4T, 4T, 5T, 5T, 6T. If you got confused, any size T will do. Kids are growing big. We want to get them potty trained. We want to get them off of this. That would help moms. So if you have it in your heart, you have a business, you'd like a box, just let us know, and we'll be happy to deliver it to you. We'll pick it up. We'll pack it up, whatever you need to do. So that's what we have going on right now. And to all our sponsors and everyone, we just love you and thank you. And last but not least, last week, Tuesday, we had our ribbon cutting. Our new mobile hygiene pantry van is done. It looks beautiful. We have been driving it around Port St. Lucie, driving it around Fort Pierce so everyone could see that. You can't miss it. We look like a Sprite bottle exploded. It looks beautiful. I love it. And doesn't it look like a Sprite bottle a little bit? Now that I say it. But it's the same color as our mobile shower unit. And we are doing showers at the Mid-Florida, at the Methodist First Church on Avenue A. Every Saturday, 9 to 12. Showers for our homeless. We've been doing it for months now, continuous. We have an influx of our homeless that are coming out and getting services. This is what Care Bag is about. If you want to jump on the bandwagon and be part of this, please do. It is so simple to join Care Bag. And I'm going to give you guys, just share it just between us, a little secret. If you text the word I Care, I-C-A-R-E, to 77222, you will get uploaded information periodically, not daily, not monthly, periodically when we have something going on. So if you'd really like to support us, that's one of the best ways you can. Text I Care, I-C-A-R-E, to 77222. That's it. And you will get our uploaded information. We do not share your number or information with anyone. Phil, you just text it, you'll get our information, and you'll get all the dates of everything that we're doing. And just to be something to get on board with this. So that is what we have going on. So I am going to say now good evening to Kayla and Asia. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, everybody. So you hear that? It's just like good evening.
Good evening.
Oh.
That's just as sweet as when your granddaughter comes in here with us.
I know.
You know?
I know.
And they all look so young to me, you know.
They
It's an old
are.
guy, you know. But hey, they're going somewhere.
Calm down, Cliff.
Oh, I'm calm as can be. I have no choice but to be. I'm permanently calm.
Permanently calm. I want you to keep it that way. How are you ladies doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. It's my first time ever being on the radio, so I'm
Okay.
super excited.
Okay, you're not nervous?
I am a little nervous.
Miss Asia?
I am very excited. I love radio. So
Okay.
this right here,
This is your thing.
It's pulling my heartstrings.
Oh, so for those that can't see, Asia is looking like she about to come and model.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Kayla look like, we just keeping it real.
Yep.
Yeah, we're here, but I should have put her up front here
Right.
on this mic. And all our mics are actually matching our outfits. So that's the
See?
funny thing about
Everything
it.
happens
For
for a
those who
reason.
can't see us on social media, it's hilarious. But ladies, thank you. So everyone's wondering, well, who is that? CareBag is how can I say this the right way? We are community radio. We're about talking to our community. We want to share experiences, share knowledge, share things that are happening in the community. You can't share and talk to the community if you don't have young people to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Young people are our future. And I decided to start with two smart, intelligent individuals. So I'm going to start with Asia. Asia, you don't need to tell your last name. You don't need to say your age, but you can say where you work at and just a little bit about yourself so we know who we're talking to. They know that we're not talking to just any and anybody.
Okay. Well, hello, listeners. My name is Asia. I am a middle school teacher at Cassens Educational Complex. I would say I'm very outspoken. I'm very bubbly. Very
Okay, so I'm
giggly.
just gonna stop you right there. This is not we're not looking for a mate. This is like a dating profile. I'm
Hey,
very
I feel
giggly. I'm very update.
They
We're not
gotta
looking.
know.
We're not looking for a date. So thank you, Asia. Right now, I'm gonna put y'all on the spot. This is live on air, so this is funny. Go ahead, Kayla. You next.
Well, I am Kayla, and I am a recent college grad. And right now, I'm just, feeling out life after
Okay.
school. And, I'm just getting into things, getting to know different people. And right now, I'm working at Radiology Imaging Associates. And I'm just trying to, get my feet into the medical field just to see if I like it. But right now, it's kind of just trial and error in life right now. And that's where I'm at right now. But
Okay.
it's good and it's steady.
So where did you graduate from?
I graduated from Bethune-Cookman University in
Okay.
Daytona Beach, Florida.
Shout out to BCU.
I don't want to say that a lot, but
Hail
there we go.
Wildcats.
Thank you.
Hail Wildcats.
Well, ladies, it is a privilege to have you on. We've been talking about this. I actually forgot you were coming on tonight, but hey, I thank you, Asia, for texting me and letting me know. That's why we need young people, because when us old dogs just our life gets so full, we have somebody just to remind us, and that's what it's about. That's what Careology is about. We're about the community. We're about sharing resources, sharing what we have. But now we need to hear what our young people are thinking. So I know we're going to talk about boundaries, but I'm going to put you on the spot. I wouldn't be Roxy if I didn't put you on the spot. I just want to talk about three things, and I just want to hear a 3-second blurb on what do you think about it. So my first one is the mass shootings that have been going on. Asia, as a teacher, I know Cassens is a lockdown facility. It's very secure, but anything can happen. But this goes to you because you're in the educational field. How are you feeling about this mass shooting that's been going on where we have young people that able to just go ahead and buy semi-automatic weapons? How safe do you feel?
Honestly, it does bring a little fear to me, because if everyone has access, there's a lot more eyes that I have to watch, a lot more corners that I have to see, because it's not only just me that I want to protect. It's my students, it's my staff, it's everyone at my school. So it does put me on edge, because it makes me feel like, okay, every day I go to school I have to be on it, because the second I slip up, you never know, because there is so much access. So right now it does make me more protective of my kids in my school.
I love that you said that it wasn't about it was about the future of the students that you are, because we have some individuals, because we're not going to this is not a political show, but you know what? We seem to have mass shootings every single day. It's like I wake up and, there's another mass shooting. I'm like, oh, okay. God, my condolences. I think Cliff knows we stopped talking about it because it just happened too much. But thank you. What do you feel about that? You were just a recent graduate. So imagine how were you when this was going on while you were at school? How did this impact you while you were at school? Because I know you come from a big family. So I know
Yes.
your phone is blowing up, everybody.
Yeah.
But how did you feel as an individual as this was happening?
So for me, being that I did and I was at an institution and living on campus, you know, at the time, that is my home. That is where all the students, that's where we all are. So it's kind of like you go to sleep, you think about it, you wake up, you thinking about it, but it's kind of like you can't make it stop you. But at the same time, it's like everybody always has to kind of be on edge, especially when it's so fresh and so new from something just happening, you know, recently. But I mean, it is nerve-wracking, and me personally, having too many people have too much access, it's like you don't even know who to watch out for. And at this point in life, you kind of just have to keep eyes on everybody, even the staff. And it's not to say that you don't trust anybody and you don't want to trust anybody.
No, you're not supposed to trust everybody.
But, you know, even if, you know, even for the people that you think are supposed to protect you, you kind of have to watch them as well. So it's just, you know, we all just have to be aware of our surroundings at that point. So, yeah.
I definitely agree. Well, I forgot to mention one thing. We were at the Safety Festival this Saturday, and for those that never went there, it was a terrific event. Doug Farrell, who puts this on, put on just a massive event. But while I was there, I was talking to one of the police officers there, because the sheriff, the Port St. Lucie Police Department, is very involved with CareBag, which I'm very grateful for. And to our chief, John Boldig, that's my other daddy, that just retired after over 30 plus years. We will miss you, and we wish you the best on your endeavors now that you're retired. But we were talking about this open carry and everything, and he said his job just got 100% harder. He said, my job just got 100% harder. He says, when I see a car that I have to stop, he said, I treat everyone as if they're just open and carrying. And just imagine, just imagine. So to the dumb person that thought about this for our state, hats off to you. You're making our police officers that are supposed to protect us feel like they can't do their job. So whoever came up with that, that was a dumb move. But we're going to go to our boundaries now. It's my show. I can kind of say what I want to say. That's why Cliff always says that disclaimer when he gets on. So the boundaries that you wanted to talk about, which boundary are you talking about? Boundary with parents? Because when I hear boundaries, I hear there are boundaries on your job, there are boundaries on your body, there are boundaries in your relationship with your friends, your girlfriends, your boyfriends, your best friends. There are boundaries with your parents. They're just boundaries. There's so many boundaries you have to take. So you guys know my grandbaby, and she's 3, but I have taught her one boundary. Everyone that sees a cute little baby that everybody wants a hug. I have told her, you don't want to hug anybody, you don't have to. You just got to hug Gigi, which is me. Not grandpa, nobody else. You just got to hug Gigi. But and someone said, someone came to me and said, well, Roxy, why would you do that? Because the society that we live in now, there's so many predators. I don't know if you're a predator.
Right. Yep.
And you don't want me to find out if you're a predator. Right. That's number one. And I'm saying that very seriously. So if she feels, there's some people that she sees and she just runs up to them and hug them. That's how she feels. There's some people she got to look at you and check you out. And there's some people that is just no. And I want her to feel comfortable in those boundaries that she has. So I believe we need to set boundaries, and we need to start teaching our children how to set boundaries. So my question is to you ladies, what boundaries are we talking about tonight? Because we have many. So what boundary are we talking about tonight?
Well, I would say in relationships. And I feel relationships don't always necessarily have to be with a spouse.
Yes.
You have relationship with your family, with your friends. I feel like relationships, you need to set those boundaries, especially as you get older.
Okay. So my boundaries with my friends are totally different from your boundaries. I can honestly say so. Because you mess up with me one, we're done. That's my boundary. Because if you mess up one, you'll do it again. That's just me. I have very little friends. I don't care because I don't want that chaos in my life. I have a lot going on. I don't want chaos in my life. So what are your boundaries that you young ladies set with your friends in your workplace? Let's talk about your workplace first, because that's funny because a lot of them are watching. This makes interesting live radio. What kind of boundaries do you set in your workplace? Let's start with you, Kayla.
Okay, so boundaries that I set, I feel like sometimes boundaries can come off as if, you're being mean or you're being standoffish, but that's not necessarily the case sometimes. For a lot of people, for me especially, growing up, I used to call everyone my friend. Oh, that's my friend, but, we go through a lot growing up as years go on, dealing with so many different people. You start to learn yourself and understand different things that you can deal with or what you want to put up with from people.
Can I help you with something? You understand the word friend, and then you understand the word acquaintance.
Yes.
Because, see, when I grew up, my mama told me, you don't have friends. You have acquaintances. Anybody can be an acquaintance. A friend is someone that you have a relationship with.
Exactly.
And I think that's where we mess it up at.
Yep. And it's crazy because growing up, my mom, she used to always say that. That's not your friend. That's not your friend. You just met her.
Yeah.
That's an acquaintance. And I never used to understand what she was saying until...
I think women, we're quick to say, that's my friend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We're very easy to say that. Mama was right. Yeah, we're easy and quick to say that. So,
but I mean, after a while, as I got older, especially when I got into high school, whenever I would be like, oh yeah, that's my friend, and she'd do certain things or he'd do certain things, say certain things that I didn't like, and I'd be like,
acquaintance category.
I don't know, like the energy is not right. And being young, you kind of just brush it off, but as time goes on and you get older and you start dealing with different people, you start to realize the things that you want to put up with and what you don't want to accept from people. And for me, I've kind of just learned to stop calling everybody my friend, and now I just put up that wall, especially with work friends or work associates. Because you see them so often and you see them every day, over time it's kind of like they can become your friend, but just because you see them every day doesn't mean that they're your friend.
They're it's called co-workers. They didn't say friend workers. Let me repeat that. Co-workers. You coexist together.
Yes.
At work.
But see, for us, because we're women and it's so easy for us to call people our
Bonding.
friends. Yes,
That's that
we
maternal
bond.
instinct you think you want to bond. Do men have that issue, Cliff?
As far as
You meet someone and immediately that's my friend.
well, the guys who have all the preconceived notions do.
Oh, for everybody,
But
let
not
me just turn
everybody.
around so they can see Cliff.
Hey, I'm over here. Hey, they got to see a shot that nobody else gets
Got
to
to see. That's true. They do.
Exclusive.
So, hi Jet, I see you. But what about you, Asia? I like that. You touched on something that was very poignant. You and it starts in the workplace. You get a job as young people, as back in the day, and as soon as you get someone. But what I used to do is when 5 o'clock came and I was gone, that was my cutoff. See, you know who your friend, because when 5 o'clock comes, 6 o'clock on the weekend, friends check on you. People that are in your life, they check on you to make sure you're okay.
I think it's just assumed that all people who work together are friends with each other. But
No.
look at some of any genre
If
of
that's the
musical
case,
band.
we wouldn't have shootings at workplaces.
There are bands and singers
Yeah.
who sing together beautifully
That
but
hated
don't
each
get
other.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I Cantina.
Yeah, good example. Yeah.
Excellent example. Sonny and Cher.
Oh,
That's
I think
how
the
it's
list
true.
is much longer than we could imagine.
Yes, it is. What do you? Well, you're in a school. Your setting is a little bit different because you're in a school setting, and that is just a lockup situation. So we're just gonna leave you alone with that because you're teaching at school. So what are some other relationships that you find that are difficult as young women? You got a whole paper there with notes on it. What you got on the notes? Hand me the notes.
Oh, you want to
See, that's why I love live radio,
There you
because
go.
they,
The
we just
notes, yeah.
catching them. They were all ready. Okay. Setting up uncomfortable boundaries. So I'll ask the question. Boundaries aren't just a list of don'ts. How do you set up boundaries with friends and coworkers?
Okay.
Asia.
Because I was about to go on a tangent.
Okay.
So
go-
cause I get excited with this conversation.
Go ahead, right ahead.
You're allowed that here.
You're
That's,
allowed-
that's
yeah.
welcome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can say what has helped create boundaries with my friendships, my relationships. I have understood that boundaries aren't a list of don'ts, like you can't do this, you don't do that. You really have to understand that boundaries are expectations, and you don't have to bend them because someone else doesn't want to follow those expectations. Don't turn on yourself because you want to be liked. And I feel like those relationships and those friendships, you have to be vulnerable. You have to have honest communication. So an easier way to set those boundaries with your friends is, hey, these are certain things that I didn't like that you did, or these are things that I want to happen. And if they don't want to follow your boundaries, that's okay. They have the right to not want to agree, but you also have that right
not
to
to
say,
be my
hey,
friend.
these are my boundaries, and if you don't want to follow my boundaries, okay. And you really have to accept that when you create those boundaries, you may lose friends and you may lose relationships, but you have to put yourself first.
Can I ask something personal? What is a boundary that you had set that you found out somebody just couldn't follow? If you don't want to say it, you can say, I'd rather not say.
A boundary that I set.
That someone
That
said, you know what,
someone
I
I
don't think
know.
so. I don't think so. That's not going to work for me.
What if they said, not fair?
That's okay if you don't believe that it's fair, but you can't,
Yeah, they can't impose.
you can't oppose if I say, okay, that's fine, you don't have to agree, but I don't think that we should continue being friends. Hey,
Have you had to do that?
Yes, I have.
Ooh.
And a boundary that I had is, if you're my friend, I feel like respect me when I'm around and respect me when I'm not around. Because if you're connected to me, and you talk bad about me or say something nasty about me and we're hanging out, I can't trust you. And if you're my friend, I have to trust you. And if you decide to, do something that I can't trust towards me, I can't be connected with you. And I can't be friends with you because I want to be honest. I want to be vulnerable. And those are really raw things to have. And if I can't trust you with my vulnerability and my emotions and honesty, then we can't be friends.
Kayla's just sitting here shaking her head, so I'm just going to go to Kayla. What are some boundaries that you set? Because you look like you just like a no-nonsense.
For me,
Yeah.
boundaries, setting boundaries to me, it's like it can be very uncomfortable. It can be an uncomfortable situation for some
A
people.
conversation to have.
Yes.
Yes. I can imagine.
And but a lot of people can use that to their advantage because sometimes they believe you're not going to say anything or you're not going to do anything about it. So that's why it's important, I think, to
be upfront.
be upfront about it and make them aware that, this is what it is, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And if you know yourself and you're firm in who you are and what it is that you don't like and what you will accept and won't, then and they have a problem with that,
That's their problem.
that's not your friend. That's not
Exactly.
who you're meant to hang around with or be around with, because the right people, they'll come and they'll mesh right in with you or they'll understand. And it goes vice versa for them. If they have, boundaries as well, if you really care about the person,
you would respect their
you
boundaries.
respect
Exactly.
it.
Do you think there's anything as unnecessary boundaries? Hold that thought. Hold that thought. You know what? We're going to go to a commercial break because I have some beautiful sponsors that we need to hear from. And we want to thank the Treasure Coast Lexus and Treasure Coast Lexus, the Woods family. Thank you so much for always supporting us, going on 3 years. So we will be back about what are unnecessary boundaries after these messages from our sponsors. Stay tuned, guys.
And we shall return in about a little over a minute from right now on Careology, the science of caring.
Thinking of building your next home or renovating? Come see us at Grozer Builders. We will create a home suited for your lifestyle. with years of experience means we give you a complete professional service from a dream to a concept. You will get the best results, best value, best quality is what you get from Grozer Builders. Visit us at grozerbuilders.com. You deserve better. You deserve Grozer. Create custom business signage that customers can't miss or resist. Let Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie help you get the job done right. Over 80 years combined experience. Get it right the first time. Call 772-337-4027 and tell them Roxy said to call. Remember, call 772-337-4020. Design a Sign in Port St. Lucie.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
We now return to Careology, presented by CareBag and hosted again by the one and only Roxy Brown.
Hello, and welcome back. We are talking. We have our two new co-hosts. We have Asia and Kayla here on Careology, and they are sitting here with Roxy, and we are having a really, really good conversation, setting boundaries. And on our social media site, we have Jed here who said we need to respect other political beliefs and opinions. Jet, that is a whole other show. Because that political beliefs has set this nation on a course of down to hell like never before.
But we need all kinds of opinions.
We need a lot of
to
opinions
blend together into a melting pot of opinions.
And that, and I agree with you 100%. And the fact that someone does not want, I remember back in the day that you can sit down with someone and you can talk about anybody's political background, any political opinion that you had, and nobody wanted to put a bullet in your head. Nowadays, you can't do that. You can't even fly a flag the way you want to because that respect is being lost. So, Jet, that is so good, but this is a whole nother show. But we're talking about setting uncomfortable boundaries. And we left you with a question, Kayla, of do you think sometimes that you may set or someone else may set unnecessary boundaries? Is there something called unnecessary boundaries?
Sometimes I do. I do believe so because, I've been in situations where I've had to sit back and think about I wouldn't say it's an unnecessary boundary. I wouldn't even call it a boundary. I would kind of say like, it's something you just want, but is it necessary?
Okay.
Is it reasonable?
Something you can give an example on?
Yes.
Please do. Because I'm kind of lost right now, so I need an example.
Yep, I understand. Yes. So I had a friend, right? And with this friend, I believe that, me and my friends, right? My closest friends, we talk about what's wrong and, if there's a problem, we talk it out. And that's how I like to do things. And
you don't want that cloud hanging over your head.
Exactly. Yeah. But other people may work differently. And
some people don't like confrontation.
Exactly. Right. So, but what I would do is be like, I like to talk things out. So why don't you want to talk things out? And I would put my foot down and be like, I'm not going to have this hanging over my head. I like to talk things out. And if you don't, that's you. And, but I felt at the same time it wasn't fair to the other person.
They might not have been ready.
Exactly.
Asia's agreeing with you. She must know the whole background story. Yeah. So those might be unnecessary boundaries. So do you think sometimes, because I look at you and I see you as like, you're that soldier. And then I look at Asia. So I know these ladies, for anyone that's wondering, I know them enough that I can say this. I see Asia's like, I take my time with you. Do you think sometimes your boundaries might inhibit or might be blocking a blessing or something that might be coming? Because sometimes putting boundaries is like setting up a wall.
Yeah.
This is old school. So sometimes when you have boundaries, they might be setting up that wall. If that wall is too high, you might be blocking that future husband, you might be blocking that future job, you may be blocking just a whole lot of stuff.
Yep.
Sometimes your boundaries, I'm just talking about just listening, sometimes boundaries can be so much that they block and you miss everything. Because I'm not talking to you ladies because I know you're not ready to get married, but I have some friends that are talking about, oh my God, I want to be married, I want to have a baby, I want to have this and that, but they have so many boundaries set. Sometimes those people can't get over that wall.
Yep.
You know, or you're setting these things so high that other individuals are like, when can I even break through that? I don't have time. Life is short. So do you think we set boundaries and set them so high that we go ahead and we basically hurt ourselves?
Yep.
What do you think?
I
Nisha?
believe that's true. I think that sometimes boundaries are necessary, but there are unnecessary boundaries. There are unhealthy boundaries, because sometimes instead of you placing those boundaries for, you know, things that are expectations for yourself, you're putting up those walls and those guards and keeping people at arm's way and calling it a boundary because you're afraid of getting close.
Yeah.
And that defeats the purpose of the vulnerability and the honest conversation. If everything I'm trying to do, you're like, nope, this is how I want it to work. Nope, this is what I want to say. I'm not going to say anything else. You're blocking off conversation. You're blocking off that, what's the word I'm looking for? That connection with somebody else, because you are so afraid of being hurt that you're pushing them so far with all
So
these
far
walls.
away.
Exactly. And that wall could be easily put down with the conversation, or maybe boundaries can change. That boundary that you might have had after you got your feelings hurt, or your friend did something that really did something to you, you have to, you know, do the work to heal, create a new boundary. Like back then, my boundary was, oh, nope, I'm not gonna deal with anybody who does this. But then once you get older, you start to realize that doesn't affect me as much. New boundary. I'm not gonna deal with this if it looks like this. You get a little more specific. And I feel like, yeah, some boundaries are unhealthy based on past hurt, past trauma, things that you're afraid of.
Because you're going to go through a lot more. So I have
Exactly.
a boundary. I only have one boundary. My one boundary is respect.
That's it.
That is my boundary. You cannot respect me. There's not even a wall. You can't, by the time I walk away, you can't even see me. I walk so far, you can't even see me, because once that respect boundary is done, there is no more trust. Now I'm
Exactly.
talking about me. I have a big trust issue. So once you break that boundary, sometimes it all depends who you are. We might be able to fix it. We might be able to talk about it. But believe it or not, I'm still going to be looking out my other third eye, because will you do it again?
Right.
You know, will you do it again? A lot of people say, oh, you just got to forgive. Ah, that's hogwash. Because when you forgive and now you need to forget about it, no, because you set that expectation that you know it's going to happen again. See, all that, let's talk about, I don't got time for that. Yeah, and y'all are young, and I like how you do things, and that's different to how I grew up. But I'm just talking about moi. Okay,
Yes.
like Fancy Nancy would say, moi. I'm in a Fancy Nancy mood. I have a 3-year-old, guys. Come on. Ooh la la. So, because I know she's listening. But setting boundaries for me is that word called respect. Because that word called respect, it goes so far. It goes so far. It covers everything on every boundary. Because
Exactly.
once you have respect for me, you're not going to talk about me if I'm not there.
Exactly.
Once you have respect for me when I leave work, you're going to respect that I leave work. You're going to respect me when I'm there. You're going to respect me when I'm not. Because if you have boundaries, that boundary word, I think, goes with respect.
It does.
That's just me. I could be wrong.
It
Because
does.
you've done a whole list on boundaries here. And I'm reading the list, and I'm like, okay, I don't see the word respect. But for me, respect is my boundary. And once you've broken that, we're kind of done. How can you if you have no respect for me, how are you going to do business with me? If you have no respect for me, how are you going to love me? If you have no respect for me, how are you going to be my friend? You see what I'm saying? If you don't respect me, how are we going to have an honest communication? You don't respect me. That means you're not going to be listening to what I'm saying. So I think when we find that person and they respect us, those boundaries will just come together. If you have to that's my opinion. If I'm wrong, ladies, you are live radio. You can correct me, please. I believe if you find that person and you know that they respect you, no boundaries have to be set.
And I agree, because when I was younger, I had a whole list, because I thought boundaries had to be a list of specific things that you wouldn't
Are
let
you
people
kidding
do.
me? Are you really?
Yes, but as I got older, people tend to get on me, because mine is as simple as respect. If you respect me, you will not lie if I want an honest conversation. If you respect me, you will understand how, if
You
I'm
really
vulnerable.
had a list?
I had a list, because
She had a
people
list, Kayla?
people had you have to be specific. You had to be specific.
That's the grown. I know she did come for the. Wow, we got on the. So for those that, I just want to show you. This is the front for those that can see, and then we got the back. She actually. I was just looking at the front page, but I'm gonna flip it over. You can laugh. Look.
I had a
Look,
list.
Cliff. She has a list, but you know what? I think when you have a list, that means you've thought about what you want. That
Exactly.
lets me know that when you have a friend, you're dying with that friend. It's a love that you have. And the thing is, at your age, when you know what you want, there's some people who don't have this because they have no clue what boundaries are. There's some people, see, you have respect for yourself. So the first show we ever did on here, and Cliff could correct me if I'm wrong, was mental health. And I think, and I was somewhere today and we were talking about that. One of the reasons why I think we have such a high suicide rate is because people do not love yourself. And I tell people this over and over again. You can't respect anyone, you can't set boundaries with anyone if you do not have self-love.
Yes.
That's going to be another one of your shows you need to
The
write
most
a list on.
fascinating topics ever discussed have happened right here on this show.
I love it.
You know that.
Thank you. I need you to say that more often. Get me more money.
Of course. I'll make a blog with
There
just
you
me
go.
saying that.
Just say that.
I'll put that as my ringtone.
But that's true. When you have someone you have to set boundaries with, I think you have to make sure that they are comfortable in their skin as you are. Because if
Exactly.
someone's not comfortable in their skin, young ladies, do you know what's going to happen? There's no respect is going to be there. Jealousy is going to creep in. Wanting, envy, all of that's going to creep in. You know, I have young women my age. We young too, and we talk about a lot of things. And when it comes down to it, a lot of the times when we sit back, they're just not happy within themselves. You're looking at other people being happy, and that's where you have to set boundaries. If I believe strongly, if you really have to set all those boundaries with somebody, something's wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so y'all agree with me?
Yes, because if the list is so long to I have to get
I
specific
just have to
to
smile
a
with
T,
everybody. Yeah.
then you don't respect me, because
No.
the easiest thing to do is respect me.
It's just spending a lot of time.
It's just so easy.
Yeah, you're spending a lot of time with those individuals, setting boundaries. You can be out making new friends.
Exactly.
New acquaintances. I'm sorry.
If you don't respect my boundaries, hey, life is short. I don't have to be your cup of tea, and that's okay. But I'd rather you be in a position where you can be your natural self with somebody who understands you than you trying to either bully me into going against your rules and your boundaries, or we're in a fake relationship or fake friendship where I'm just here because for comfort reasons.
So I'm gonna put you two on the spot. How long have you two been friends? Drink a sip of water. This looks like it'll take a while.
Since
I want to say, okay, y'all can do the math. Junior year of high school.
Okay, well, that's a good little time.
which was
Over 3 years.
What was that?
Yeah,
Yeah, way over 3 years.
Way over 3.
Okay, so we've passed the acquaintance stage, which I already knew, but they don't know, so I had to get it in here. So my question now is, have you had to set boundaries with each other?
Yes.
I love this. See, the time, it's 6:50. I should have asked this question long time ago, because now it's getting juicy. If you don't mind me, is it boundaries you can share? Because I never want to get too personal.
Yes, I think so.
What is one boundary that you saw you had to have with each other?
So one that I say is coming to the what's the word I'm looking for? Coming to an understanding that whenever something is wrong, we're going to talk about it, and we have to agree on that.
Okay.
So she has to be okay with talking about it when something's wrong, and I have to be okay with talking about it. Well, I am always okay with talking about it when something's wrong, but I had to make sure, she's okay with that. But that is a boundary we had to set, because
You want to talk about it and she just want to leave it alone.
Yes.
But see, the part where we had to make that boundary is, okay, I know that you're ready to have that conversation, but I am not ready.
Not ready. Okay.
And where we had to learn is sometimes she'd be ready to have the conversation. I might not even know what's wrong. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to have this conversation. She's like, well, why? I'm like, like, I can't give you what you're looking for. So it's only going to be emotion from this point instead of understanding.
Yeah. So now when she's like, oh, I don't know what's wrong. I just don't feel too good today. I'm like, okay, well, let me know when you're ready.
Because it's going to come out eventually.
I understand her now, and I'm willing to work with her because I respect her.
You respect her.
Exactly.
You see how the word came in? Yes, Cliff?
You realize what occurs here.
What?
They're keeping respect in mind on all points in order to create and maintain balance by setting boundaries.
So I just want y'all to know Cliff has been taking notes.
I was about to say, I know that's
I
right,
know.
Cliff. With the pen and the paper.
I love that.
I got hashtags I'm going to put on.
Okay.
Hashtag respect. Hashtag boundaries. Hashtag self-love, self-worth.
Oh, yeah. And because we're encouraging others to do
we
the
want
same.
to. If I think when we set boundaries, if you're right now, there are people in a relationship and they don't know what to do. So imagine if you can sit down, ladies. If we have people that are listening to this and sitting down, and what they're saying is, you know what? Let's sit down and let's talk and let's see where we need to set our boundaries.
Solution-based.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, we've had this conversation on many different levels, but now we're having a conversation from two young individuals. So to let you know, this is what young people are doing. This is what young people are thinking. Do not underestimate the power of what young minds can do. And I think we do
Absolutely.
that. As we get to a certain age, y'all figure, let's not do that. Let's not be complacent with how we have young people thinking, because they have problems, they have situations that they are trying to figure out. And this is our future generation, and this is what's going to make them grow.
I think
and
we're
we
in
need
good
to do
hands.
that.
I
I think we're so far.
Today's
We're
young people are
kind of
making
some. We're not in good hands all the way, but we kind of sort of.
But we're moving right
We're
along.
moving in the right direction.
Yes.
That's it. We're moving.
getting there.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Time has elapsed on us already. And we have just a couple more minutes before we end.
6.5.
So I'm just going to read something that you have here. When you set a boundary, majority of the time, the person might not like it, but that's okay with a little cart. That doesn't mean that you're wrong for setting that boundary. Don't betray yourself to be liked. When I read that, I thought that was so poignant. Don't betray yourself to be liked. And that doesn't go for just being young. That goes for being any age.
Exactly.
And I think that some of us, we have boundaries we set for ourselves, and to please others, we let it go just to be liked or just to fit in. And I think we have to kind of put a break on that. And because we basically have 5 minutes left, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to say what you want to say. Then I'm going to give you 2 minutes so we can wrap up the show. If you had something to tell, do you want your notes back?
No,
Okay.
I think I'm good.
You can use this. I've been using it.
You might want to save them for your book.
Oh, there you go. Oh.
There it is.
So if you had the question I want to ask you, if you had the young life to live over again and setting boundaries was part of your core decision with the friendships and with the acquaintances that you have, what are some things you would do differently? Oh, I'm deep.
Only thing I can say on the top of my head that I would do differently, I would set those boundaries, and I'm going to keep those boundaries. And if you don't want to, and if I have that conversation with you and you are like, nope, I'm not doing that, I don't agree with it, accept the fact that, okay, we don't have to be friends, we don't have to like each other, but I'm still keeping them.
So I'm just going to interject here. So you've had from what I understand, you have set boundaries, but because somebody has not respected your boundaries, you've put your boundaries on the side just to deal with that person.
I have set I've set boundaries, and when I've tried to have that communication or have that conversation with the person, they made me feel difficult or made me feel, okay, I understand what you're saying, but what about me?
What did you do?
I was like, okay, I understand. I didn't take them away, but I bent them. And once you bend your boundaries, bend that expectation.
Yourself.
Exactly. You portray yourself.
No. You betrayed yourself.
I'm
reading your words here.
I did portray myself because I wanted to be liked, because I felt like if I felt difficult. I'm like, if I don't, at least try to bend or compromise my boundaries, then I'm gonna block blessings. I'm gonna push people away. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. If I set my boundaries and you leave, you weren't necessarily pushed. You just weren't supposed to be there in the first place.
Oh, we're gonna say amen. Look, we're gonna say amen. We have even less, 2 minutes. Yeah. What is what it's time? I'll ask you the question so it'll make it easier on you. Some boundaries that you have set, have you regretted setting those boundaries? Has there ever been any boundaries you set and you were like, you know what, I really shouldn't have done that?
That is a good one.
Thank you.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
For me, no.
Really? Boy, I thought I was gonna get
She said-
Cliff. I thought I was gonna get an in-depth conversation.
It was a
when I
dramatic
asked
pause.
Because
No.
my mother, she raised me with setting boundaries and making sure that I understood that not everybody was my friend, and not
so you've
everybody
had that from an early age.
Yes.
The Caribbean
And-
Jamaican background.
And it was a good thing because I always watched out for people. And even when I was in high school, I realized that I'd rather be by myself than force myself to be in a relationship with people that I knew just weren't for me. So, and that's what I did.
That's what you did. Well, like they say, good things always end quickly. Like you have a good ice cream, it's gonna finish. That's what it's gonna do. Setting boundaries. And I'm going to, and first of all, thank you ladies for coming on the show. This has been awesome. I cannot wait for your next topic. I know we've had quite a few people watching, quite a few people sending me messages. We really appreciate it. But this is what I'm gonna leave all of you with. Don't betray yourself. You set boundaries, you have an expectation of someone, you have loyalty or love. Don't betray yourself by bending, by forgetting it. That's very important. We love you. We will see you back next week on Tuesday. This is your Careologist, Roxy, on Careology, and we love you. And remember, keep your boundaries. Don't betray yourself to be liked because you're already loved.